Way with this exciting day for you. What does it mean for you to get to see this unfold here this afternoon?
Oh, this is just so exciting. This is the culmination of, well, for me, it's 5 years, but for a lot of the team, it's also 8 years work to get this rover down to the surface. To me, it's just, I can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth that it's actually landing day. And not only that, but we're going to get to see the rover deployed, and we're going to get to see real pictures of Mars from our instruments. That's just fantastic.
And so let's just kind of take everyone through the details. There's, first of all, this thing that's called the 7 minutes of terror. What does that mean to you guys?
Right, so the 7 minutes of terror is that we don't have any communications with Mars until, or any direct communications. So we have to wait for 7 minutes until the rover signals us that it's landed on the surface. So that's when you'll get that, well, hopefully we'll see that unbridled joy from people at JPL, because the rover will have landed and we'll get the message that it lands on the surface. But it's got to go through this harrowing descent into Mars. It's traveling so fast when it gets to Mars, we've got to use every technique available to try and slow it down. Hit the atmosphere, and you can see that shot across the atmosphere. I just love that shot there. It has to open up a parachute. We're using up the parachute, and then we'll also be slowing the rover by rockets. Because it's so heavy, it's like a 1-ton rover on the surface. We have to fire rockets, retro rockets, that will lower us gently onto the surface. And as you see there, we're getting the parachute shot there. And the rover will be blowing open its cavity right there. And then at 10 meters to go, the rover gets cut and it has to go down onto the surface by itself. So that all of that has to happen autonomously. We don't have anything to do with it apart from the fact that the JPL engineers have programmed it. I just hope they get it all right. I'm a scientist. I don't get to play with the rover until the engineers are happy that it's on Mars and it's safely there for us. But that's, yeah, so I'll just be hoping that the JPL engineers have done it all right today.
Now talk about this delay. You know, we said there's an 11.5-minute delay to actually know if it safely did land. Why is that?
Yeah, that's because Mars is so far away that even at the speed of light, the signals that we send from Mars don't reach us for 11 minutes. So that means that basically we have to wait that amount of time. And then we don't get to communicate back for another 11 minutes as well. So it's a totally asynchronous type of lifestyle for the rovers. We don't get to control them directly, but every day we upload new commands to them and they go about their daily business. And on a day like today, when they're going onto the surface, they're telling us all about how they're going to land on the surface and what success they've had. Also, we've got other instruments like EDL camera, an EDL microphone that is able to tell us what sounds the rover is hearing as its engines are ignited. So we'll be able to document all that in a completely different way for this rover as well.
Now let's just talk about the reason behind this rover landing on Mars. You know, you guys are really searching for that ancient life. Was it ever present on the red planet? And it will take a while to get that data back to us here on Earth.
That's right, yeah. So essentially, the really exciting part about our landing site is the fact that we could actually find biosignatures on the surface. So biosignature is actually signs that life was present. Our landing site, we know, is really ancient. It's more ancient than any surface on the Earth because Mars has been able to preserve its surface so very well for billions of years. Basically, we don't have any window into what was happening on Earth at that time, but Mars can tell us more about what was happening at that time in the solar system. And also we have a delta there that we're going to be landing on. A delta is just like here on Earth. It requires liquid water to be present. There's no more liquid water on Mars now. So why did that water disappear? Where did it go? How long was it there? And how did it disappear? And whether life might have been associated with that water. Those are critical questions that we'll be able to answer with the rover.
And you talked a little bit about some of the features that this rover has. Now, this is the most advanced. This is a huge rover. So kind of talk about some of those details for people who might not know exactly all the features this is going to be able to do there on Mars.
Right. So the rover itself also has a little buddy that we should also mention called Ingenuity. That's a helicopter that's currently slung underneath the rover. So in the first month of operations will be a really exciting time, because that'll be when we have the helicopter taking off and doing its practice flights. And for the first time, we'll be able to do flights at Mars or in another planet for the first time. So that's really exciting for engineers especially, and for anyone who's interested in learning more about what the surface looks like from above. So I'm a pilot myself, so and a geologist, and I know that when you look down on rocks, you see so much more detail. I mean, everybody in the pre-COVID days flying across the United States, say, looking out your window, you know that the geology and the rocks that you see around you, they're telling you a story, and the same it is for Mars, and the same it will be for Ingenuity. I know we're going to learn a lot about the photos, the images, and the cool stuff that we get back from that helicopter.
And where are you going to be watching it from? I wanted to ask that too before we go.
Well, because of COVID times, I'm here at home with my kids, and we're all going to be enjoying that, the arrival of Perseverance on the surface from here. So as long as we're able to get her on the surface safely, then it'll be a great day for all, I think.
Yes, and I know not only you guys are excited, but a lot of people here too, just on what this could mean for future research. So thank you again, Adrian, for joining us live here on News Now from Fox. Don't forget, we are going to have you fully covered on this landing, keeping you up to date on everything we know as it continues to develop. As we mentioned, it's going to be an exciting afternoon. We'll have more to come on News Now from Fox after a quick break.